A double dose of goodness. Hey everyone, welcome. Hi, you and you and you. If you can, as always, I love it. Even if you're listening to the replay of this, put in your name and where you're hailing from and what's your word for the day. What's going on? What's happening? All right. Have you ever felt the frustration? I am wondering. The frustration that comes from wishing that you knew. I'm asking a question for everyone that's joining from all over the world right now. So happy to see you. So happy to see you. Today is about that discomfort where you're in the middle of something, or you feel that sense of urgency inside, like something's coming, or where you have a sense that there's something more for you or your life, or like there's a problem and you don't have the ultimate solution yet, or where you and your sweetie haven't had that ultimate conversation to bring things to their greatest conclusion. And it's like making your eye twitch that you haven't had the conversation yet. It's that feeling of not knowing, or the feeling of things not being in harmony yet, or the feeling of you just don't have the guidance that's actually letting you drop in. It's that feeling. Have you ever had that feeling? So happy, everyone from all over the world. If you want to type in where you're hailing from, we've got the Philippines and England and Canada and the United States so far. So if you want to type in to the chat or the comments where you're hailing from and what's your word? What's your word for the day? What's the word that's going to activate your day? I want to hear. So if you ever had that feeling, type in yes. If type in yes, I've even had that feeling recently. That feeling like you don't know and it's frustrating that you don't know. You wish you knew. But something hasn't reached its conclusion yet. Something hasn't found its clarity yet. You haven't been available to the answer yet. Have you ever had your eye twitch because it's not there? I could very easily be in the middle of one of those right now. Hey, Michelle in Toronto. So glad you're here. Alan has had that feeling where it's kind of like that floaty where you're not quite in the world yet of holy smokers. Thanks for all the yeses on Instagram. And yeah. And Samuel, I get it. And hi, Marilyn and Leighton. So happy to have you here. If you haven't yet, if you haven't yet reached the place where within 30 seconds, it's not that you have an answer, but when you're in problem mode, I just want to say this. Take a deep breath. This will be the context for our entire conversation. So take a deep breath. Let yourself receive. And thank you for all the hearts, you guys. I love that. Imagine that the universe doesn't necessarily, your higher levels, your guidance, your greater wisdom, God, whatever you call that which lies in the quantum field that already knows the answer, because if there's a problem, there are millions of answers simultaneously, because the universe would collapse on itself if that weren't the case. The equation for the universe wouldn't work. So there has to be an answer. But here's the statement I want to make. The universe doesn't send you necessarily the answer. Breathe. But it does send you the curriculum for getting to the person that you have to become to receive the answer. Let me say it again. Take a deep breath in. It was pretty juicy when I first got this. Super juicy. When you're looking for clarity, One of the greatest ways that human beings sabotage themselves is they sabotage themselves by thinking that the universe is supposed to give them an immediate answer. But just like the people who buy the lottery ticket and then win and then they lose all the money, you are loved by infinite wisdom. You are loved by life. And because you are loved by life, the universe, most of the time, doesn't send you a direct answer unless you're a vibrational match for it yet, unless you become the person. Let me put that in English. Unless you become the person you need to become in order to capacitate that amount of money or the answer that you're looking for. And so the universe doesn't send you the answer. It sends you the curriculum. So the curriculum is the path to become the person that can capacitate and hold the resolution, that dream, that idea. I'd love to hear from you how that idea makes you feel. How does it make you feel to realize that? I'm going to say it again for the people that are joining us now. Again, I'm going to say it in a different way because it sinks in and the codes are different when I say it in different ways and come at it from different angles. Oftentimes, when you're looking for clarity, because today is all about clarity. We've done 3 days. The first day is about the 3 superpowers that it requires to flow in times of great change. The second day was about the freedom from overthinking and overwhelm. Day 3 today is about transcending the uncertainty and that sense of stuckness. And in order to transcend uncertainty and that sense of stuckness, what it takes is to understand that the universe doesn't necessarily send you direct answers, but it will send you the curriculum. And the curriculum is actually a path forward so that you can become the person that can capacitate and hold. You can be a consistent, embodied vibrational match by becoming and evolving your biology and your field to be able to contain that next level that you're being called to. Does that make sense? I like that, Yvonne. Your word is resolve. So, the answer to Joan's question, which was how do we actually know when we're getting the curriculum? And the answer to that question, and I'm glad for Joy on Insta that it's comforting to know that. I don't know if it's comforting to know that or if it's comforting about something else. But I'm so glad you're here because today is a pretty big day, given that in times of great change, we have the capacity to not just survive them. I was listening to a guy who was talking about stocks yesterday, and he said, it doesn't matter if the economy is bad or good. There are always opportunities. And the universe is the same way. There are always opportunities. In times of great change, however, you must, if you want to flourish through them, instead of get the booby prize and survive and get to the other side unscathed. That's called survival. It's okay if you're down for that. But flourishing through them takes a little courage because it's on the path of the unknown. I'm going to state something that I said yesterday, and I suggest that you might want to write it down. I'd love to hear how this makes you feel, guys. So, you ready? The statement is your love affair with the unknown, your love affair with the unknown transcends your need for courage. So your love affair with the unknown transcends your need for courage. But just think about it, especially for the women. Men too, but women have this more. When you're having a disagreement with your sweetie or something hasn't reached a resolve and you haven't gotten to the end, how not peaceful that feels. How the unknown doesn't feel very good. You don't have a love affair in that moment. Put a yes in the chat if you know what I mean when I say the unknown makes us really uncomfortable. If you've ever felt uncomfortable because in a relationship something hasn't reached its resolution and it might take months and it doesn't feel good to you, just give me a big shout out if that has been the way for you. It could be in your business. It hasn't reached its pinnacle. It hasn't reached its flow and it's in process. And good morning, Maria. I'm so excited you're coming to Costa Rica. Lovely. Right? Okay, guys. So, what we're doing today is around exactly that. How do we find a place? How do we get to the place where we're so in love with the unknown that the unknown doesn't freak us out? It doesn't trigger our amygdala, and that you can get clarity on more than likely not the answer, but the curriculum. Because again, I'm going to say it over and over again so it sinks in. The universe sends you exactly what you need. When you take the spaciousness that we talked about on day one, when you take the spaciousness to actually unplug from what's bothering you, you will get steps and they won't be related to the money, the business, your relationship, what you should do next. But you'll get steps like, hey, you need to go and phone Bob, Who's Bob? He's your mechanic. What does your mechanic have to do with the solution? I don't know, but it takes you out of the flow and gets your car fixed. And that's another step to having some peace on the ground so that you can count on something like your car being able to run. And somehow that amount of peace now opens up something in a different direction. And that is called doing what presents. It's a big conversation. It's not, I'm introducing something here that is for those of you that live a linear, struggle laden life, doing what presents just feels like, what are you talking about? And you got to know, I spent the whole first part of my life actually doing what I should do, and I aced it. Straight A's in high school, not very happy. Had the marriage that anyone would dream of, with the house you would dream of, with the cars that you would dream of. Left my job at Procter& Gamble, which most people would have dreamt of. Grew a holistic integrative health practice. Started to see people biologically, holographically. Understood where they were off. Very magical in this relationship where my man loved me very much, but it was completely unfulfilling. So when I say I'm talking about your love affair with the unknown, all the way to the point of the dog that took me through that entire divorce, I knew that I needed to share that dog with my parents. And that was, why is life presenting that to me? Well, life is presenting that to me because my greatest path of passion was to be here with you. And I'm living in Asheville, North Carolina. I moved in a very awkward time in politics. Trust me. So I want you to know that I have lived this. My love affair with the unknown, I would never give up because it has me transcend the need for courage. In fact, at this point, so just breathe and hear me out. Hear how things have changed so deeply. Because where we're going from here is I'm going to talk about why we don't follow what presents, why we literally don't follow the threads that give us the miraculous or better transcendent magical life where alchemy is the norm and miracles are your new normal. Why don't we do it? Why don't we do it? And what do we need to do to get there? Someone mentioned the word trust before. I'm going to get to that too. I'm just going to write that down. Trust. I want to talk about trust for those of you that think that it takes trust. It doesn't. I wouldn't trust at all. That is going to give you the booby prize, right? So aren't you curious why trust gives you the booby prize according to the laws of physics? So you got to know that I've lived this. My love affair with the unknown is what has had me have just the most adventurous, incredible travel the world, meet amazing people. You know, Lee Harris is one of my friends. It's very cool. How does that happen? And I got to tell you, at times it has not been easy. Hey, Bruna in Portugal. All right. So here we go. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why, and then we're going to talk about what there is to do about that. How do we get to the place where we can be embodied, where we are just, we have, it's not that we have trust. It's not that we have faith. It's not that we have belief, because those are all the booby prize. Okay. I don't even live in those worlds anymore. But I notice when I'm having beliefs or when I'm trying to trust, it doesn't work. I can tell you that much. Flow doesn't involve those things. Okay. So, there's this last little piece where we're going to talk about how do you get to the place where you have not the belief shift, but you have a whole paradigm shift about how life works, such that the entire operating system of flow can drop in. Are you interested in that? Let me know if you're interested in that, because you're in the wrong place. If you're not interested in embodying the thriving operating system so you can flourish through times of great change, then you are in the wrong place. So give me a big, like, hell yeah, if you know you're in the right place. That is what you want. You want to know how to do that, right? So just put that in the chat. I want to see, because that's where we're headed here today. All right, you guys, here we go. And we're probably going to go to about 20 minutes to the hour. So another 20 minutes, because I really want this to drop in. I want to see some more hell yeahs in the chat. Right? Hell yeah. Who wants to be on that journey? Yay. Okay, you guys, here we go. Thanks, everyone. All right. Valerina. Is that your name? That is such a beautiful name, Valerina. All right, you go, guys. Here we go. So the reason why what we do is we try to trust, and we make it mental, and I'll talk about that in a second. And the reason why we actually don't do what presents, and the reason why we need to get answers now, is fivefold. I'm going to share with you five. You might want to break out a pen and just write these down. The first reason is that we are very, very uncomfortable with the unknown. We're uncomfortable with the unknown. The solution there is to actually not get comfortable with the unknown, is to actually fall in love with it if we want to flourish. To be comfortable with the unknown is going to have you survive better, but we're not interested in surviving better in this conversation. We're interested in flourishing through. Remember, we're interested in thriving. There's a difference between surviving better, which involves lots of tools and skills and, I know to breathe and all those things. That's great. That's great. But most of you know that you have a capacity to actually embody. It's like when you get stressed out, you automatically just start breathing more deeply, because it's so automatic for you now that that's just what you do. But flow is not automatic for people, especially in times of great change. Okay? It's an issue. Okay. The second reason, the first one is we're uncomfortable with the unknown. The second reason why we don't flow, because flourishing requires being in love with the unknown. The second reason why is that we go into lone wolf mode. By the way, if any of these resonate with you, just say in the comments, "Yep, I got that. That's me. I do that." So lone wolf mode is you try to figure it out yourself and you forget that you have the resources of the entire universe. You don't even phone a physical friend because you're embarrassed that you can't figure it out and you go internal. So instead of letting guides and angels or even exploring being connected to your guides and angels, you just go internal. You try to do it all yourself, right? All right. So the third one, Mary Ellen, heard. So the third one is that what we do in order to stay out of flow, the thing that has us continually surviving better is that we want to stay in control. We have more interest in control than flourishing. Our fear of going into the unknown has us want to feel control and like we can predict the outcomes. We want the outcomes to be predictable. We don't want or better outcomes. So the solution to that one is to be more interested in the miraculous, in the or betters, than you are in control. It's a big one. Who are my control people here? Who are the people that love to have control? You just want to know the outcome. It better turn out the way I want it to. Gosh darn it. Right? The fourth one is that now this one's going to be a hard one to get. It's that you're more into trying to find the belief system and letting go. You're more into analysis, I would say. You're more into mentally analyzing why things are in the way. Breathe, because I'm giving you the distinction between surviving better and actually flourishing. Okay. You're more into the analysis of how come you're stuck. You're more into the analysis of how come you're stuck than you are so you go to people, you get the Reiki, you do all the things, you address the problem, than you are in actually being interested in raising your frequency to receive a different answer. So listen to me very carefully because this is a huge thing in humanity. We've been trained that you have to analyze what's in your way. But the thing is, physics says that the more you put your attention on and the more you imagine that if I just fix my brokenness, if I just transcend my brokenness, then I'm just going to flourish. But the thing is, you have no practice in flourishing is if all you've been doing is analyzing how come you're broken. And of course, the laws of physics say that you're going to witness more reasons that you're broken the more you look for the reasons you're broken. You're going to see an endless supply. Give me a hell yeah if you've been doing that in your life ever, where you just keep analyzing how come you're wrong and bad and everything doesn't work. You ever done that? Right? And yes, ticket to bliss. I hear you. All right. So this is a huge one. It's actually probably a main one. The very belief that says that you have to analyze the living daylights out of life in order to get to the place where you flourish, it's a huge one. It's the first thing I shifted when I started doing this work. I'm not interested in fixing myself. I am a divine child of the infinite who thought I was a good idea. I am alive. I am not broken. I am in the curriculum of life. And the curriculum of life looks exactly like, and this is number 5, that the contrast is actually built into life. That's the flourishing way. The non-flourishing way is that there's something wrong when something isn't working. There's nothing wrong. There's something to become. You're being given an opportunity to catalyze yourself to become something new. Isn't that interesting? Do you look at contrast or when something's stuck or when it's not working like it's an opportunity to become something new? Or do you look at it like I have to analyze myself? Do you look at those opportunities as knowing instantaneously that there's a solution? and you face towards a solution and you actually get more interested in becoming a vibrational match to the solution than you are to excavating all the things that are wrong with you. Isn't that interesting? So, my friends, those are the reasons why. And I've given you me telling you the thriving way is an intellectual exercise. Again, I cannot tell you. It's like me telling you how to do the front crawl and then you jump in the pool and you drown. You get it? We're just opening the door to another way. Remember, I said for the last 2 days, the first is you got to open the way to get to flourishing through times of great change takes 3 steps. The first one is activating that there is another way. I didn't know there was another way. I thought, I was taking courses to fix myself ad infinitum constantly. Our courses don't fix you. None of our programs fix you. All of our programs are about actually because it's what has me living in that flow and feeling like everything is coming to me. It's so amazing. I got to tell you though, when I'm off and when I do one of those 5 things, oh my God, it's almost immediate and I feel terrible. It's much worse and it redirects me. It's great. I'm glad I have the contrast because it redirects me instantly back to, oh yeah. So everything we do here is not actually about surviving better. It's all about embodying the idea of being in the curriculum that life is constantly delivering you. When you are in contrast, the answer already exists. Aren't you more interested in the solution and the answer than you are in perpetually the rest of your life analyzing the living crap out of yourself? Not to say there isn't time. This is not spiritual bypassing because you will have, as you become yourself, your insights from that higher level will actually be so much more brilliant to be able to see the patterns that you've had and reframe them. And you'll be able to transcend hundreds of beliefs that don't work for you at a time instead of a one at a time while you're doing it from the mind that created the problem. You get what I'm saying? This is an evolutionary way of looking at life. It really is. Imagine you get to a higher place of your deeper understanding first without thinking that you need to fix yourself first to get that higher understanding. You get to the higher understanding without even fixing anything. And then you're instantly available to the clarity that you need on hundreds of things that aren't working for you, rather than just doing it one off. Remember, it is a time of quantum computers. It's a time of AI. It's a time of blockchain. It means that even the way that we think and process life is being AI'd. So I love that, Michaela. Love you. Now, I promise. Is this helpful, guys? I'd love to hear from you. What are you getting from this? What's important to you? And for those of you that just joined, make sure you just read what people are getting from this conversation because it's changing. Don't just like, oh, I joined late. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm literally asking everyone to share. What are you getting that's really important for you today? What did you hear? So how do you get to this depth of clarity? Now we're going to talk about the practicalities. Okay. Remember, day 1 was about some superpowers to shift your biology to the future where you live in flow. And we talked about 3 superpowers. Day 2 was about freedom from overthinking. Why do we overthink? And what can we do to transcend the overthinking? Both of those days we shared about, and I'm just reminding you so we can get to the juicy bits today, right? Phase 1 of all of this. Phase 1 of our work at TWA, phase 1, because this is all about flourishing. I wasn't interested after I took all those programs, Landmark, everything, all the things that you guys have been to, Reiki Master, all the things. I did all of it. I ran the largest integrative health clinic in Canada, done all of it. And the more I did, the more I realized that my ultimate goal was to be free. My ultimate goal was to live in my connection with the divine. My ultimate goal was to have consistent clarity. My ultimate goal was to just, right? Was to flourish through. I wasn't interested. I knew it was possible. As I studied physics, I knew it was possible to flourish through times of great change, not just survive and get by. I don't want to teach you how to get by. I don't want to show you how to get by, not even teach you. So this methodology is first you open the door to it, that it's even possible, that there is a paradigm shift, not a belief shift, that there's a whole paradigm shift that will shift hundreds of beliefs. And if you can shift the whole paradigm, which is made up of thousands of beliefs about how you live your life. So first you have to know that there's a paradigm shift. From the paradigm you're in, you can't know it until someone tells you or someone demonstrates it. Okay? So we've done a little bit of that here in the last 3 days. The second one is, so you open the door. The second is you walk through the door and you start checking it out, trying it out, thinking about it, talking about it, which is what we've done. But thinking about it is where most people stop, because they think by knowing about it or thinking about it or understanding it deeply that it's actually embodied, but it isn't. It isn't until you immerse yourself. Now, what does that immersion take? So this is where we get to the answer to today. And I will talk about trust, I promise you. What it takes to immerse yourself is not to trust. If you really look, you'll see that trust is actually a mental game where it's like you're talking to yourself to try to trust someone or something. I don't recommend that you try to trust something or someone. My friend Will basically said to me one day, he said, "Don't trust me as your guide." And it gave me such relief. And for me, trusting someone else in a relationship, trust is just not a thing. Because trust is all mental. It's like, I'm going to give up, and even having faith is, I'm going to give up my sovereignty and my innate knowing and my cellular relationship to life. And I'm just going to mentally decide to trust something. Are you kidding me? I have 75 trillion cells connected to the divine. I'm going to ignore that and actually put myself into emergency mode by, I'm going to trust? No, I'm not going to trust. I want my cellular knowing, because if I'm embodied in my cellular knowing, then I'm not interested in whether I can trust someone or not, because I'm not interested in a game of me being safe or in control. I'm interested in the game of what's going on for the other person, because my cells are speaking to me. And then I know what to say from love, because every behavior is either an act of love or a cry for love, as it says in the Course of Miracles. It's a cry for love or an act of love. Am I interested in understanding that, or am I interested in protecting myself? Because protecting myself is the booby prize, and I'm not interested in preventing the past anymore. I'm interested in flourishing through. Are you getting me? Are you hearing what I'm saying? What if you could be in your cellular knowing so deeply that you would flourish through? You don't have to trust that your event is going to get filled. You don't have to trust that your client's going to come back. Use your cellular knowing to create a system for your clients so that there's 5 stages and you can tell them they're only in stage 3, because they are. And now all of a sudden you're using your wisdom instead of actually like hoping and crossing your fingers. As my husband says, hope is not a strategy. And trust has a little bit of hope in it, right? What if you just knew what was going on over there? and you knew what to say. So how do you get to that place? So here are the steps, my friends. I told you we would go to about 11:40, 11:45. So here comes the crux of it all. Yeah. First and foremost, one must do what we said on the first 2 days. Take the spaciousness, right? Take the spaciousness, activate the future that you desire, and it has to be consistently every day, as much spaciousness as you need. And then do your future activation like I do with my clients and in our private community. You future activate. Let's do that right now. I had the best day. It was so great. I had a great interaction with everybody in our third day of our event. It was such a blessed time. I had a day where I felt connected to others, where I felt more importantly, it didn't matter where they were in the world, but I felt that I transcended geography because my heart was connected to all the people that mattered to me. I knew like I knew that the answers were out there. Even when I forgot and I tried hard and I was a lone wolf, something just flipped in me. And all of a sudden I went back to, I'm either going to know the answer, and in the meantime, I'm going to work with the curriculum that life is sending me, even when it doesn't make sense. It was the best day to have that realization. I became way more interested in miracles becoming normals today. I loved every minute of it, or better. So that's a future activation. In our community, we have a whole slew of them. Jeannie is amazing at creating those. And with my private clients, I literally do them in private groups every day of the week. So the third thing, because can you see, you guys, can you see that future activation is getting your biology used to a different way of being? You're not doing it like a vision board. Then you get attachment. You get attached to a result. And we're not interested in being attached to a result. Remember, your love affair with the unknown transcends your need for courage or attachment or expectation. Your love affair with the unknown transcends your need for expectation and attachment to that expectation. Okay? The third one, and this is the one but doesn't pertain to the other 2 days. How to fall in love with uncertainty, how to flow through uncertainty is this. And by the way, if you've read the book Unstuck that I wrote, I would definitely recommend that at this point, and get the Audible version because I read it and I put a few extras in there. But it talks about this third one quite a bit. You have to make a choice. So make this choice with me. Just choose. And you want to re-choose as many times a day as you need to until you don't need to choose anymore. Choose that the miraculous would become normal for you. Let me language this differently. A miracle is an unknown entity by definition. It's an unexpected result. I like to call them orbetters. Joan likes to make sure that I also put in there and beyond. It's really an and beyond. It's like, so you have an intention or a vision for something, but you got to understand the resources of all that is can access stuff that there's no way that your three-dimensional humanness can. And the resources that create new worlds and new species have already come up with or better transcendent miraculous results. And if you're interested, it's okay to have a vision board to make yourself feel good, but hold it all loosely. And one third of your vision board should stay or better so that you hold it quite loosely. Okay, so make the choice today that you are more interested in miracles becoming normals than in the predictable. It is truly the container where you can come into flow with the entire universe. It's the container where an asteroid can eventually crash against enough things that gravitational pull can create a planet, where the explosion of the guts of the universe, where the atoms that created worlds and species are what you're made of. Infinite intelligence is within you. You contain those atoms of the original all the way until now. You literally contain everything that's ever been possible. You're made of that. And consciousness, if we were to anthropomorphize a little bit, is surprised and delighted. Don't you want to be surprised and delighted by life? It is not the normal way to live in these times of great change. And remember that the third thing, the most important thing, and the reason, one of the reasons I did this series of 3 is because I absolutely know. And by the way, please share this. Once it's done, come back, listen to the replays and share. We just so appreciate you. And the reason to do this is because I'm in love with humanity. I'm in love with my own humanity. I'm in love with your humanity. You are not a mistake. The entire universe thought you were a good idea, or you wouldn't be here. We're running around looking for our worthiness when there's nothing to run around and look for. You literally have life. The trees are breathing out what you're breathing in. There are sunsets. Literally. How is it possible that you could not be worthy? We're having a delicious conversation about expanding our lives and consciousness. Worthiness is not up for debate. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just not interested in the worthiness conversation. You're alive. Do you know how to do that? Do you know anybody that knows how to do that? No. Because in this dimension of 3D, we came from multi-D and intentionally brought ourselves along with consciousness itself into 3 dimensions with the perfect parents to put us on the journey, no matter what they looked like. And you get to become. And I told you the process of becoming 1, 2, 3. And one of the reasons I'm here is, we have programs that are coming up that we haven't announced, but one of actually the most potent way to embody, to actually get to the place where all of this becomes the new normal is to go on a trip with us with only like 12 people and me and Jeannie, who is a genius. That's why she's named Jeannie. And we're taking you to Costa Rica, taking you out of your life, out of the din, it is a beautiful place. It is right on the beach. It's incredible. And if it's time for you to just transcend, to immerse, you need this kind of experience. I say to you truly, only for the mental mind, this is not a manipulation tactic, but you have to understand that it really is $1,800 an hour to work with me. And this is 5 days to be immersed in embodying this. It is the most fun I ever have because literally you're watching people embody as we go with the most profound conversations where I get to see everyone's hologram, where you get your hologram read as we're in circle every morning. And we get to see dolphins, we get to go with the sloths, we get to do all the things that we do in order to catalyze in a place where you're not pulled by your life, where you can feel yourself clearly, where you're given things at night to be able to dream upon. Literally immersed in your own becoming to embody exactly what we've talked about here. And I know some of you are explaining it away, but if your telomeres are being tickled, if you can feel it's like, oh my God, I really wish maybe there is a way, maybe there isn't a way, just reach out to us, support@thewideawakening.com. I'm telling you, or just register. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you something about egos, the part of you that resists. Remember, control, predictable outcome. And I said your love affair with the unknown. It's like, I can't do that. I don't know what would happen to my business, my this, my that, my other thing. I'm literally poking the bear here on purpose. Watch your tree shake. Watch what your mind says. That's the amygdala. This isn't just about going to Costa Rica, it's about everything in your life. Take a breath in and listen to what I'm saying. When you're looking to make a spiral jump, when you're looking to go in a whole other paradigm, it means that the old paradigm, the known, is and the way the amygdala works is it's like, oh no, 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 no. We're not going into the unknown. We're not going to change our paradigm. We have to do this like in a way that makes me feel comfortable and all that kind of stuff. But what happens is every fear you have will come up no matter what, new business, new relationship, I don't care what it is. I want you to look at what happens and relate to it differently. Look at what comes up. What comes up is every feel, oh my God, how are we going to do this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to, how am I going to make this happen? I can't let my heart wide open to someone that I'm afraid is, a, philanderer or something. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do that. I know there's some people on this right now that did go through that in the past. And I am telling you, your heart already knows, and you got to either listen to the part that's constantly trying to protect you from evolving. You understand? Or you listen to the heart, which is connected to the infinite. Your brain is either being used by your ego or it's being used by your heart. Those are the only two options. I'm just saying, when you come to these choice points in your life, it's a choice to point to be able to actually make a quantum leap, or to fall in love with yourself, to romance the entirety of what you're up to in this world, to become that which you feel is urgently calling you. Every time you get afraid, rejoice, get excited, because the fact that you're afraid means that your amygdala knows that you're on the other side. Your becoming is on the other side. Who you really are is on the other side. Every time you get afraid, know that your amygdala is informing you that you're on to something. This is something to actually act on. Do you understand what I'm saying? In every area of your life, this is something, it's information. This is how your love affair with the unknown works. You don't get to do it. You don't get to, but I want it to be comfortable. Bleh. No. Comfort is for safety and control. If you truly are up to making your life about the miraculous, that's how it works. How it works is when your amygdala gets poked, get excited. That's how you fall in love with the unknown. then get excited, then take action on the excitement, and just watch how you take action on the excitement and then how your amygdala jumps in and goes, no, 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 you can't do it. If you're in that place and you don't know what to do with it, just reach out, support at thewideawakening.com. Happy to talk to you about Costa Rica if it really pulls your heart, if it's activating your heart and you just know it's like, oh my God, 5 days of that immersed, I know my whole life is going to change. And it is. So the link is there. You have it. And I would love to hear from you. What did you get out of today? What did you need to hear? Even if it was this last bit about having your fears poked, knowing full well that when you're afraid, there's a leap on the other side. Now, some of you might not be afraid. It's just like, yeah, I got to do this for me. It's just a yes already. Yvonne, I wonder what would happen if you were a yes anyways, and you didn't have to figure out the how. I wonder if the how dropped in because you were a yes. Not to say that you could, but might be worth a phone call. You know what I mean? I love that, Mary. Confirmation. Lovely. What did you get? What did you get today? What was so juicy? Tell the people that joined us late what you got. Share it with other people. Fall in love with the unknown. Absolutely. And the cool thing is, Joy, is that falling in love with with the unknown as an intellectual exercise is one thing. Actually taking the action, that's what's happened with law of attraction. With law of attraction, people have gotten this crazy ass idea that it's like you just intend, 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 and it's going to show up. No, the thing that has you embody is actually taking the action. It's doing the thing to prove to yourself and to move the energy and watch the universe move mountains. So the idea is good. Glad you like the idea. And again, I'm going to say, because I am committed to everyone on this planet never giving their power away to anyone else, politically, economically, or any way, because the path to your greatest abundance, the path to your greatest evolution is to live in this degree of flow. These times are going to call for nothing but all the children that are being born right now, they're born with this capacity in the forefront. They have to be because of the speed at which things are moving. Imagine that you could live in that degree of flow without having to die and come back. Yeah. And joy. Let's have the conversation. Marilyn, I'm so happy. I love that you love the unknown in action. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. And trust and faith are a mental game. Thank you, Sonia. Okay, everybody. Make sure you register for Costa Rica or you reach out with a support call. I'm here to have that conversation. I hope these 3 days have been productive and juicy for you. Again, please share them with other people. You can hear my mission. You can hear that a dream is dreaming me. I want you to have the same feeling I have. I want you to have that same feeling every day when you wake up in the morning, that there is a dream that's dreaming you. And that you feel like you're on path with it, that you know, like you know, like you know. Thank you, Marie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Thank you, Valerina. Oh my God, what a great name. Your main name might be Valerie, but I love that you call yourself Ballerina. All right, you guys, biggest hugs ever. Until the next time we do some stuff, make sure you join our free community. Regardless, if you haven't yet joined our free community, you can get some cool stuff there. And it's at agentsofawakening.com. But in all honesty, I'm up for those deeper conversations, and I look forward to seeing your hologram in those support calls to see if this is an alignment or if we can make it work for you. All right, you guys, big hug. Mwah! Thank you, everyone, for showing up for yourselves, not for me, for yourselves. Okay. Love you.